Hi, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Susan West. You're watching Comcast Local Edition, and our focus right now is the face-to-face mission. And joining us now to explain to us what that's all about is Dr. Wayne Larrabee. Thank you so much for being here, Doctor.
Well, thank you, Susan, for having us. Face-to-Face is a program that some facial plastic surgeons started several years ago, really, to help mainly poor people in countries with congenital deformities, war-injured children, and such things. And basically, it provides pro bono surgery to those people and children.
And what are some of the missions that stand out the most to you of where you've been and helped kids?
Well, several really. One of the early ones was the former Yugoslavia when we went over there, and there were a lot of war injuries from that terrible war. And I'd served in the military and seen Vietnam injuries, and I worked at Charity Hospital in New Orleans and seen those injuries, but we'd never seen so many injuries in children and civilians, basically. Most recently, it was a trip to China where we went over and did mainly cleft lip palate work last summer. And the sad thing was that we had well over 200 people show up wanting treatment for these cleft lip palates, poor people who came at great expense and difficulty to get treated. And based on the hospital, we could only do approximately 50 cases in that time. So we're going to go back and do the rest. But we were sad not to get them all done, but we'll go back.
I imagine. Now, those you got to help, I bet that just meant so much to those families and so much to those children. So I understand in some parts of the world, this really makes a difference in their lives, doesn't it?
Right. It's life-changing for the individuals involved. I mean, if you have a cleft lip, for example, you have a big hole in the middle of your lip, you can't speak well frequently, you sometimes can't eat well. But in a poor country, I mean, you can't get education, you can't get a job. It makes it, I mean, almost impossible. So, you know, a simple hour or two operation really changes the life of that person. So it's very rewarding for everyone, particularly for us.
Well, imagine for you, especially. I mean, you're doing the surgery knowing that you're helping this little child to be able to hopefully have a successful life ahead.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. We're so lucky to be able to, you know, make those contributions, and it's wonderful.
And you also help people here in the U.S. Tell us about your role with that.
Right. We started a few years ago a domestic violence program. A lot of our surgeons like to go abroad, but you know can't for various reasons. And so we started a program basically to help the victims of domestic violence. Many of those women primarily have scars, crooked noses, whatever from their abuse, and those scars really are a problem for them. And so we basically do pro bono surgery and fix those. We work with local shelters in conjunction with them, and that's been a very successful program. It's been very well. The AMA, I was lucky enough to pick up for the organization their Major Public Service Award a few years ago for that. It's been very well accepted by all the women's groups, and it's worked out very nicely for everybody.
Well, I imagine it's helping these women to have a new beginning, trying to go on with their lives.
Right. They carry the emotional scars from whether it's the broken nose or whatever, and every time they look in the mirror it reminds them of their abuse and so forth, and so just removing that really makes a difference in their lives.
And I know that obviously you're helping a lot of people who don't have the money to be able to afford these surgeries, and obviously that means that you need to have money to be able to do all of this. Tell us about your fundraising efforts. How can people help? We
started a national organization. The physicians, we fund our own ways, of course. The funds go just for nurses, medical supplies, and other support. But we have a website. I have it put into mind to make it easy. It's www.larrabeecenter.com, LARRABEE.com. It's local. And that'll tell you how to do it. But again, the money's very well spent. We have a very low overhead, and the money all goes for support facilities for these trips.
And your center, the Larrabee Center, is actually out of Swedish. It's in Seattle.
Yes, right across from Swedish.
A local practice.
Local.
And that's LarrabeeCenter.com, LARRABEE. I want to make sure people get it right so they can find it.
Yeah.
And so they can look at that site too to find out how to get help as well, I imagine.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. What an interesting thing you do, and it sounds like it's really helpful to people, especially kids around the world. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
And I'm Susan West. You've been watching Comcast Local Edition. Join us again next half hour.